Good afternoon, everyone. I call upon you, Sharmila, PhD Research Scholar, to introduce our speaker, Professor Dr. S. Ganapathy Venkatasubramanian, Department of Environmental Law and Management, Anna University, Chennai.
Respected dignitaries, faculty staff, and my dear students. Pleasant good afternoon to one and all gathered here. I'm U. Sharmila, Research Scholar, PG and Research Department of Microbiology. It gives me immense pleasure to introduce our research person for the International Conference on Next Generation Microbiologists, Challenges and Opportunities 2.0. We are honored by the presence of Dr. S. Ganapathy Venkatasubramanian, Anna University. He has been appointed as a Vice Chairman, expert member, State Level Environmental Impact Assessment Authority, Tamil Nadu State, by Ministry of Environmental Forest and Climate Change, Government of India, from January 2022. Sir has completed his doctorate in the field of environmental management and law. He has around 30 years of teaching experience in science and engineering field. He has guided around 100 students in various fields. His research areas, which includes environmental impact assessment, solid waste management, wastewater treatment, and environmental laws. He has been involved in several environmental impact assessment related consultancy works as a team member, to name a few: Indoi Car Project at Chennai, Ford Car Project at Chennai. He contributed himself for almost 5 years in administrative department in the court related work. He has been nominated by the Government of India in vast areas, to name a few: Constitution with the State Government of Puducherry, Department of Science and Technology, as an environmental member in State Level Environmental Expert Apparel Committee for a period of 3 years, from 2008 to 2011. He has been nominated by the Syndicate of Tiruvallur University, Vellore, as a member of Board of Studies in Environmental Management for a period of 3 years, from April 2015. He has been nominated as one of the honorary advisory for the Grassroots Research and Creation, New Delhi, an autonomous research and development consultancy providing wide range of research and consultancy services in diverse areas of environmental management, community development project and program evolutions and market research. He has around 34 awards, to name a few: International Distinguished Education Excellent Award in the year of 2021, Global Annual Education and Research Summit in the year of 2021 on 18th December by the Center for Professional Advancement and Continuous Education, a unit of IMRF registered with the Government of India. He has been awarded Academic Excellent Award 2021, Red Research, Andhra Pradesh, India, on Feb 2021. Sir has been awarded 4 times for the excellent environmental activities. He has published many papers in peer-reviewed journals, and he has organized training programs and seminars, to name a few: Chennai Waterways and one-day training program on modern tool for river water management in department in the year of 2006. 3 days national conference on the role of technical education in sustainable development in Center for Environmental Studies, Center for Water Resources, Anna University, Chennai. Program on Municipal Solid Waste Management, CES, Anna University, from 18 to 22 December 2006. Team member in organizing training program on hazardous waste management for officials, sponsored by CPCB at CES on 20 to 21 March 1998. Awarded fellowship under Indo-French Cultural Exchange Program during his postdoctoral work. I hope all our students will be inspired by your motivating thoughts, sir. Thank you, sir, for taking time out of your busy schedule. Proud to have you, sir. Once again, we welcome you.
Very good afternoon to everyone. So once again, I am coming to you now. This is the technical session, and I am once again very much thankful to the organizers of this conference for having given me this opportunity to be one of the first, to one of the keynote speaker, and as well as the first speaker. And I told in the inaugural address itself that I got doubly happy that as per the name that, and secondly the subject area was also given importance, and my name was also given that importance, and by giving this due importance to these two, I have been given the first one. So for that also I have thanked the thing. Now the topic which is being already I have been introduced. So the time limit, because madam has said that the time limit is 1 hour, she said this, so you have to be at 1 hour 15 minutes for the interaction session. So by 12:20 I will be completing it. And I was just telling her very jocularly, in fact, that Vaishnav College is the producer of this movie, and madam, head of the department, Vidya madam is the director of this movie, and these are all associate directors. Associate director. You are all the audience. I am only an actor. For an actor today, what is that காட்சி? காதல் காட்சியா அல்லது சண்டை காட்சியா மோதல் காட்சியா அப்படிங்கறத நீங்க சொல்லுங்க. அந்த ஆடியன்ஸுக்கு ஏத்த மாதிரி without going for the second take or a third take, I will do the thing அப்படின்னுட்டு. அதனால she has completely given the picture that 1 hour is your talk, sir, and 15 minutes for that interaction. If the interaction is not there, you can continue for that 10 minutes also. Okay, so now the topic is being given to me is that how far this environmental management, environment can be effectively managed by using that law as a tool for this one. First and the foremost, for the effective environmental management, in my opinion, I can say that the 3 E's are very important. What are the 3 E's? The first one is the education E. Okay, education E in the sense that is creating an awareness with the people, because I have seen in most of the places people who have got highly educated and they are having the streams of degrees and the diplomas, but with reference to the environmental knowledge, if you just test them, means they are having a very poor knowledge. Take 1 or 2 examples if I give, means you are all the biologists, you know very well that the waste can be characterized into various categories. Number 1, it can be categorized as a solid waste, liquid waste, gaseous waste. Then other way of classifying that, for example, this solid waste again can be classified as a municipal solid waste, biomedical waste, hazardous waste. Like that also you can classify. And each waste has its own characteristics. Sorry, I have put it in the silent mode. I'm a Rajinikanth fan, but again, this phone is also coming from the A square Rajinikanth. I have put it in the silent mode, forgotten. Okay? So he is calling me. Afternoon we are having one meeting. Okay, come back to the picture, come back to the point. So, and you know that the biomedical waste and the hazardous waste, like that waste is also being characterized with reference to the solid waste. And even in the posh localities, even the highly educated people living there, you could have seen most of the time the sanitary napkins, the diapers, they are all considered to be the biomedical waste. Most of the time they mix along with the municipal solid waste and going along with the municipal solid waste. You know, this number 1, if this biomedical waste is being put it in the open bin, means it is harboring millions and trillions of the bacteria, virus and all. You just see that the people who are living on the windward direction, so much amount of these contaminants are carried out, and they are probability of susceptible to various diseases are more. Number 1. Number 2, the persons who are handling this waste, had they been given the due precautions, had they been taught how to handle this waste, it is very poor in a country like ours. So in fact, we can say to some extent it is a violation of the human right also. But had the people been taught that this waste is considered to be the biomedical waste, you should not have mixed this waste. This waste has to be segregated and put it in the different bin, and that has to go in the transportation is also a different than the treatment is also a different one. Like that, had the people been taught, means you can avoid several problems also, health related problems. So the first and the foremost is that educating the people, that is more important for an effective environmental management. In fact, realizing the importance of imparting this education to the younger generation, the Supreme Court in one of the judgment has given clear directions to the University Grants Commission to introduce one special subject, namely the environmental science and engineering in the undergraduate curriculum, irrespective of what branch a student is studying. Probably you would have also studied in your undergraduate program one compulsory subject on the environmental science, irrespective of whether he may be an engineering, mechanical, or a civil, or electrical, or anything. You would have also that they are also having in the syllabus. You would have also studied that. The purpose is to create an awareness with the younger generation, and that will be very much useful to have a clear environmental management. And in fact, the government is also funding to the various pollution control boards and other educational institutions to conduct different type of the programs specifically meant for the specific type of the audience, like advocates, adjudicators, administrators, academicians, and specific type of programs like a biomedical waste management handling, then the hazardous waste managing, municipal solid waste management, coastal zone regulation zone notification, then you come across that environmental impact assessment, like that specific type of the program for the specific type of audience, organizing such type of the programs funded by the government of India as well as the state governments also. In fact, the most of the pollution control boards are having a separate wing called as an environmental training institute, ETI, and they are regularly organizing the program. In fact, if you could just go through the Tamil Nadu Pollution Control Board website, you can also come across what type of the programs they are organizing. If it is for the students, means you can also attend it. It is a free of cost for the 2 days, 3 days, like that. So the first E I told you about the imparting of education. Okay. Number 2 is the engineering for the effective environmental management. There is no second opinion whether it is the water treatment or the wastewater treatment, unless otherwise the scientific principles are ingrained with the engineering design and developing a technology. Certainly, without that engineering and technology, you cannot have a clean environment. So engineering is also very important. Before going to the third one, I can say the fourth E, which is emerging in the recent past, in the last 10 years, is the fourth E domain, namely this economics domain, or the economics. How this economics is means, previously environment is considered to be a free commodity. Air, water, this and that, free commodity. So anything which is available at the free of cost means there is a tendency to use it, overuse it, misuse it, and abuse it also. Now it is slowly changing. You can see that water tax is there, water charge is there, sewage tax, sewage charges. Then, like in addition to paying the road tax, you are also paying for the toll tax. Like that, keeping that clean and healthy environment, if you are passing through that, or if you are enjoying that serene beauty of that, you have to pay in addition to the tax what you are paying it, in order to keep that one neat and clean, or that environmentally safe. So that type of a thing is slowly emerging. In fact, for example, unfortunately in India we are not internalizing that externality. Internalizing that externality means now we are having that water bottle is there. The water bottle costs around 20 rupees 1 liter. Okay. That water you are paying for the 20 rupees. After the due use of that water, you are throwing that water bottle. Have you ever seen that how this water bottle is effectively disposed from the environment without causing any environmental impact, negative impact to the environment? We have never thought. We are just throwing it in the bin, and again collecting of this waste, transporting this waste, the treatment site, treatment, there also a cost is involved. Who has to bear the cost? Because X is using that particular product, but Y that whatever the waste generated by the X, now for the purpose of treating that waste which is created by the X, a taxpayer's money, a YE Z who has not used that product, that money is also taken for the purpose of treating that waste. Means, is it logical? Now slowly the government is integrating the waste disposal cost also along with the consumer product. This is slowly coming, and in another 10 years we will come across this economic regime will also be integrated along with that environmental management. So with the result, the cost of the product may increasing it. That is the third. Then that's the fourth E. The third E, which is the most important, unfortunately, it is not given that much importance. That is the enforcement regime. This is what I am going to deal today. What is that enforcement? See, for the now, and you could have heard that word law and order. Okay, when there is a law, then only an order will be there. Without a law, an order will not be there. So, for the purpose of enforcement means I have been given a set of rules and regulations. In a democratic country, we are only framing the rules and regulations. These rules and regulations have to be effectively enforced. Okay? See, for example, we are going outside, that law and order. We are night time, we are going. Anywhere when you are going safely means there is one arm in the department, in the government department, which is maintaining that law and order, or in a way it is creating a confidence with us. If you go there or if you move there, there is a safety. If there is any crisis means there is one department which will be coming to our rescue. Like that maintenance of that law and order in the police department. Okay. Now the police, how they are getting the powers means through that law, which is enacted in our parliament or enacted in our assembly. Unless the police is armed with the power through this act in order to maintain the orderliness in the society. Like that, if you wanted to have an orderliness in the sharing of the resources, in order to share that resources, because sharing of the resources is very, very important. Then secondly, whatever that ill effect, which is as much as possible, the ill effects because of the human activity must be minimized. Wherever the development is essential, yes, definitely there will be some environment will be taken. There it will be a minimum one. For that, we are framing certain rules and regulations. These rules and regulations have to be effectively enforced. For that, different departments have also been created. Now, point number one, enforcement is the most important. Now, I can tell you. Now, I will be asking one question. See, we come across 2015. There was a flood in Chennai. இல்லையா 2004ல Bhuj ஏரியால என்ன நடந்தது? Earthquake. Now, if I ask you, sir, so much, it was a big catastrophe happened. Okay. Now, if I ask you, sir, 2000, you are recording. Yes, sir. Politically sensitive. It is an incineration. So, biomedical waste. What is for example, in Chennai, so many hospitals are there per bed. This is the quantum of the waste is being generated. How the waste has to be segregated in the hospital itself at the different colors, yellow, red, black, white, like that. Then how it has to be tied. Then it will be given to a private agency, and they should have the proper transport facilities. You cannot transport it like a municipal solid waste in the open thing or anything, because this is a highly biologically and microbiologically a contaminated one. So handling itself, you have got a lot of precautions. In addition to that, transportation also, it has to be, there are a lot of precautions to be followed. So that person, it will be given to him and he will be charging, and he must have a biomedical waste disposal facility. That disposal facility, it will be having an incinerator or the deep burying. There they will be disposing that one. Okay. Now, with reference to the hazardous waste, what is that hazardous waste? This waste cannot be further disposed because it has come to that one level. It has to be dumped only. For example, in the incinerator, we have incinerated that waste. Bottom ash is there. This ash cannot be further treated. It may be containing lot of heavy metals and other things. So this is a hazardous waste. Like that, in the industry also, you come across several waste which cannot be further degraded. So it has to be dumped only at a safe site. For that, how this waste has to be collected, how the waste has to be stored in that industry, how the waste has to be transported, and how it has to be dumped. Then, being the student, you should also tell your teachers to have some field visit. of going and seeing that incinerator, then municipal solid waste management handling sites, biomedical waste management handling site. It is around Chennai, Minjur area. It is there. Hazardous waste management site is also there. Then you come across what is this one? Water treatment plant. So every day you are seeing that water. It is coming in the pipeline. Have you ever thought how the water is, where from we are getting that water? What is the quality of that water, and how the water is treated there, and what type of the treatment it is given? Then it is how it is coming to our home. Then number two, whatever that wastewater which is generated, there are two types of that water. One is the brown water, another one is the black. So how this brown water is treated, how the black water is treated, whether it is within the system or any other, like a Kudungiyur wastewater treatment plant is there. Then in Perungudi, there is a wastewater treatment plant is there. Coimbatore, there is one wastewater treatment. How this waste is, this liquid waste, screen chamber, grid chamber, then anaerobic form and aerobic form, like that the water is treated. Then the treated water is going for the irrigation purposes. Then the sludge is used for the biogas generation. So you must go and see that. You can tell your staff members to arrange for a field visit 1 day or 2 days. You can visit that site also, which is very, very important one. In addition to your microbiology, you can do this one also. Like, coming back to the point. So hazardous waste site, you have to, how it has to be carried out, because even that lorry or the container itself should have lot of precautions, because in the course of transporting, if there is any accident occurred means, then the driver must know how to prevent it, and immediately what type of the first aid action he has to take. He must have that special license for that one also. Then it is going to the site, and how it is dumped, that with the membrane, with the other, that the soil profile, everything will be changed. You have to dump it there. Then above that the soil will be put. There is a methodology for doing that one also. So for that you have got a hazardous waste management handling rules. Like that, coastal regulation. So CRZ, coastal regulation zone notification is there. So we all know what is a high tide, what is a low tide. So this high tide may be varying from the season to season. For example, during the monsoon season, the waves will come a little more distance. During the Paurnami, Amavasya days, it will be coming a little more. So like that, over a period of time, we have to find it out where this high tide has come. From that, we are demarcating it 500 meters as a no development zone. From that, no construction activities should take place. So if there are any already existing prior to 1991, the roads are there, means you can do the construction activities. Otherwise, totally 500 meters you are giving in the form of a buffer. So this buffer has been strictly followed, means the effect of the tsunami would have been reduced to a large extent, because most of the places the seawater has not entered more than 500 meters. Nature takes its own balance. But because of the human activity, see, nature itself is polluting that nature. Volcanic eruption, cyclone, earthquake and all. If the nature is polluting that nature, it will balance on its own. But if the man-made activities are polluting that nature, it will take a long time in order to bring back that environmental equilibrium. For example, we are polluting with the plastics. It will take decades and it will take centuries in order to bring back to the original condition. This is what the difference between the pollution is taking place. There is no activity without a divide of pollution. But minimizing the pollution, that is more important. Then it must be within the carrying capacity. It must be within the regenerating capacity, and this whatever we are doing it, that is, it must come back to that equilibrium in the normal state. Nature itself means nature will balance on its own. So CRZ notification is there. Like that, we are having those legislations. Now, how to implement? Who is empowered to enforce these legislations? Means at the central level, we are having the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change is there. State level also, we have got the Department of Environment, Forest and the Climate Change is there. In addition to that, statutory body like a pollution control board, central pollution control board. State level, we are having the state pollution control board. This board will be enforcing these legislations. Then Act, Water Act. Water Act very clearly says that is what is the quantum of water you are using, for what process you are using in your industry, and after the due use of where from you are going to draw that water. If we are going to draw it from the groundwater, means that groundwater again you are provided adequate provision in order to recharge the groundwater, because indiscriminate exploitation of the groundwater, especially in the coastal areas, will lead to the intrusion of the seawater inside. Okay, so that is the biggest problem. So for that reason, you are governed with certain legislations. This much quantum of the groundwater only you have to draw it. But during the rainy season, monsoon season, if there is a heavy rain, means you should have a proper rainwater harvesting facility, that is the roof water and roof water. This water will go to the ground. You must have that adequate percolation percolation pits, so that it will get recharged. That water should not be allowed to run off from that place. Adequate recharging it. So you must show in your thing. Water Act governs how much amount of the water you are using, where from you are using, how you are using. After that, how much amount of the water is coming out as an effluent. This effluent must have a standard. For example, you are having your standard 50% is the passing minimum, above 60% is the first class, above 75% is the distinction. Like that you are having classified your thing. Like that, even there also, this is what that total dissolved solids, biochemical oxygen demand, then heavy metals. Like that we have prescribed the standards. So when you are letting out that effluent outside your factory, then it must have within the prescribed standard before it is letting out in any of the public sewers or the lakes, reservoirs and all. For that, who will be supervising it? It is the pollution control board, engineers and scientists. They are empowered through that Water Act. They can go inside the premises of the company. They can collect the sample. Then they have to bring it to the laboratory, analyze the sample. If they found there are a pollution, means then they can issue a show cause notice to that industry, and the first time they can give the warning, second time they can cut the electricity, then cut the water supply, they can close down that industry also. You could have seen that based upon this act only, Sterlite industry was closed. You understand? So like that, these board engineers are given the power to even to close. Now you can ask one question, sir, if there is no electricity, can we use a generator? No, you cannot use the generator. Sir, if there is no water supply is cut, then can we use the groundwater? Groundwater also you are not supposed to use it. So Water Act very clearly says what process you are employing, how much amount of the wastewater you are generating, how the wastewater has to be treated properly before letting out from the outside that industry, any pond, reservoir and all. This is very, 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 very important, because when you go to the Natharka district, you come across lot of tanneries. When you go to the E Road and the other Salem and all, you come across lot of Savo industries. When you go to near that Pallipalayam, paper industry is there. Then you go near that Tirupur, lot of dyeing industries are there. So these industries will be letting out at effluent, whether it is within the standard or not. Pollution Control Board is the monitoring agency. They are license giving authorities plus monitoring agencies, plus they have got the power to prosecute you. Prosecution means they have to charge you producing before the court of law and getting the punishment also. Similarly, Water Act is also there. Similarly, Air Act is also there, because that gaseous waste, you come across several thermal power stations and other industries, cement industries, lot of suspended particulate matter will be coming. Thermal, you come across several, that is charged carbon particles will be coming. So then some industries you come across the sulfur dioxide, hydrogen sulfide, carbon monoxide, like that. So you must have in your in-house itself properly, that is segregating this sulfur dioxide by using the what is this one, scrubber. scrubbers, then carbon particles by using that electrostatic precipitators, Bach filter in our for the what is this one? Removing these suspended particulates in cement industries and all. So like that, the industry should have a proper waste before letting out that air gaseous waste. They must treat that waste in such a manner it must be within the prescribed standards. Okay, sir. So Air Act is there, Water Act. Similarly, the Pollution Control Board has got the power. Okay, sir. Now, the peculiarity of that environmental law. Today morning, our keynote speakers were saying that what is this one? You come across the bioterrorism, what is this one? Bio warfare and all. Now, environmental, there are two domains of that law which cannot be, which has got, for example, if I say means these two legislations cannot be contained only with reference to one country alone. Why I am saying this so means if you just see our laws, you come across the Rio Declaration, you come across the Stockholm Declaration, you come across the Nairobi Declaration, you have got the Biodiversity Convention, you have got the Basel Convention, you have got the what is this Ramsar Convention with reference to the wetlands. So today is the wetland day, wetland protections. Like that, you have got at the international level several conventions, agreements, protocols have taken place. So, though after the due signature by the partner countries, including the climate change, COP 272-27 was in Egypt last month, that 2 months back. So, you come across several legislations are coming up, agreements are coming up at the international level. So, and India is a signatory for all these things. The moment when you put the signature means then again you have to modify our domestic law in consonance with the international law. That is one of the term. Now you can ask me one question, sir. If that is so means then international legal regime is very much commanding for the purpose of emergence of domestic legal regime. Yes, it is a very much. Why it is so means environment cannot be viewed in an isolated way. There are two domains of that law which are at the international ramification. Number one is the environmental law, number two is the cyber law. Whereas if you take the labor law, constitutional law, criminal law, all these laws are only with reference to that sovereignty of the country, within our country only. But environmental law is not like that, because why means whatever that activity which you are doing within your country, that may have an effect in some other place, in some other country, or even on the common property resources. For example, if you indiscriminately burn the fossil fuels, if you are not having energy efficient mechanism, you are contributing large quantum of the greenhouse gases. Then if you don't have that not using that refrigerator and other things with the non-ozone depleting substances, you are contributing more quantum of this chlorofluorocarbon, means it will be breaking that ozone thing. The effect you may not be feeling it, but that effect is being felt in some other country. Understand it? Or it may be felt by the common property also. Take for example, because of the global warming, because of this greenhouse effect, now you can able to find out there is a good amount of change in the climate also. Change in the climate, you can see October, November, December is the rainy season. But most of the time that rainy season is for 3 months, but rainy days are only 1 week. Whatever the quantum of rain which is in 3 months, if it is downpour means if that runoff will be less, that can be effectively used by the system. But the same rain within 10 days means completely flooding it. Completely flooding, if you are not having a proper natural drainage as well as our own drainage system, most of the waters will get run off, and that will also cause a lot of secondary effects in the form of the floods also, or the stagnation of water. All these problems, if you see it, because of the change in the weather pattern, change in the climate. And what is the reason for the change in the climate? Okay, in my country, I am cutting off nearly completely cutting off the forest area. Forest area, today morning was also somebody said, sir, at the time there was a big, here that mango garden used to be there on your left side of our campus. Now there your buildings have come. So like that, that small level microclimate is also micro weather, microclimate will get affected. So with the result, overall effect, on one side, heavy amount of industrialization, on one side, heavy amount of the deforestation, on one side, this pollution load. So all these things, cumulative effect, if you see, it means there is a change in the climate. Change in the climate may have an effect in some other country. See, then similarly acid rain. If you are polluting that atmosphere with the sulfur dioxide, you may not having that effect, but the effect is being felt in the cold countries in the form of an acid rain. That may be affecting their monuments, that may affect the soil pH, their fertility will get affected also. So, and moreover, this type of these things, what will happen means climate change don't take because of the environmental activities of one place, effect is being felt at some other place. See, just like that, we are letting out that effluent. It is going in the Huam River. Huam River, from there it is going to the sea and Bay of Bengal. And if any fish is consuming this heavy metal, that fish is coming to the dish of somebody else, means whatever the pollution you are doing it, if the fish is exported to some other country, that is affecting their health also. So environment cannot be viewed in an isolated way. Environment has to be viewed in a holistic way, in a comprehensive way, in a global way, or in an international way. For that reason only, most of these environmental laws are dictated by the international community for the purpose of emergence of the domestic legal regime. And similarly for the cyber law also. Cyber law, if A is a citizen of one country sitting physically in a B country and developing a site which is highly objectionable in a C country by hiring the cyberspace of the D country, and if anyone is opening the site in the C country, and the country means this person, how he has to be punished before the court of law, means it is a very difficult. He cannot be applied to the citizens law. He cannot be applied where he was sitting it, because he may be physically sitting, but his cyberspace is some other country, and that some other country, in his country this is legally allowed, in that country it is not legally allowed. In that country, how this, why this fellow has opened the site and seen, like that you come across several cyber related crimes. The major problem, that affected person may be here, but the person who has done it may be in Nigeria or in Somalia or anywhere. So there are three types of involved. One is the first identifying that criminal. Then for that is an investigation. Investigating the case, identifying the criminal. After that, you have to produce before the court of law and getting the punishment. With your technology, you can able to identify the person. But of course, it is also very difficult. But after identifying that person, when you wanted to prosecute that fellow, produce before the court of law and getting the punishment, means under what law he has to be punished. Whether it is the citizens law or the place in which he has committed that offense, so-called offense, or the cyber space which he has hired, or the country's law where it is considered to be an offense. So this type of the what is this one? Jurisdictional issues are very major in the cyber related crimes. So cyber related crimes are also international ramification. Then environment related crimes are also international ramification. Take for example, because of the change in the climate, then what will happen in a particular place? A drought has happened. This drought is not because of the nature, but because of the climate change, or because of the sulfur dioxide pouring of the rain, that soil got so much acidity. With the result, you cannot able to grow the crops. The farmers are got affected, and these farmers are slowly leaving their job and migrating to some other state or some other country. What will be the fate of those? What is the fate of the people who are of that place? See, they are also becoming the refugees. If you see that international law with reference to the refugees, it may be because of the internal problem or external aggression. If they become the refugees, they have to be given that asylum in some other country. Okay, but they are not because of the internal problem. They are not because of the external aggression. But they have become the refugees because they cannot able to do their own profession. That for that they are not the reason. Some other country has polluted. With the result, my climate has changed, my soil thing has changed, and I cannot able to continue my agriculture. I have become the refugees. I am migrating into the next from Bangladesh. They are entering into the India, Pakistan. They are entering Nepal. They are entering Burma. They are entering it. And in the guise of environmental refugees, some terrorists, some antisocial elements entered, means it will be causing the social problems also in the country. So if you see the root cause of all these things, means it is because of the change in the climate. So change in that environmental thing has got a socio-economic, political effect. Now you can be able to visualize how that environment. Similarly, environment is not only playing at the local level, even at the international level. Now, this is the A country, that is the B country. Now that A country is manufacturing a product. Now this A country wanted to sell the product or export this product to a B country. Now, if the B country wanted to import that product, means now every country has entered into an agreement with the WTO, World Trade or Trade Organization, and GATT, General Agreement on Tariff and Trade. Because of that only, we can able to get all the goods which are manufactured in foreign countries. They are having the collaboration with our Indian things. We are able to get. When 20 years back, getting a Sony TV or a Panasonic TV, or getting the car, what is this one? Whatever the car, we are getting the Ford car, we are getting the Nissan, we are having the Hyundai. All these things, if you could be able to see it, it has got the foreign collaboration. Similarly, most of the products we are having that type. So 20 years back, if you are getting the Sony TV, means you have to purchase it from outside and get the TV by paying the customs duty. Now Sony TV is very much assembled in India. Then similarly Panasonic, or if you take that LG, this and that, all these refrigerators. So any product anywhere which is manufactured in the world, it is very freely available because of the free trade. Like that, our products are also can be exported to the third world countries. Now, in that, because the world has shrunken because of this WTO, World Trade Organization, and the GATT agreement, free trade is there. Okay. Now that the problem here is in the free trade, a country is exporting. That there is one law which very clearly says if the manufacturing process of the particular product is not environmentally friendly as per the importing law, as per the laws of the importing country can issue a ban of importing that particular product. Now take for example, in India we are exporting large quantum of the leather. But leather is manufactured mainly in the Ambur, Vaniambadi, Kudiyatham, Arcadu, Ranipatti, in those areas. Now tomorrow when you are exporting that leather, that importing country says your manufacturing of that leather is not environmentally friendly. You are just like that disposing that waste. You are employing lot of child labor. So hereinafter we will not be importing your leather. Like that, if they issue a ban as per the WTO, means then who will get affected? It is the exporting country, like a developing country. India will get affected, not the importing country. Now, if the developed country wanted to curtail the development of a developing country, they can use this environmental law as a tool in order to curtail it. It is a potential weapon in the hands of the developed country. Now you can be able to understand how that environment is playing the role in the international level. You understand it? So just we cannot say that the environment is just boil that water and take it. Don't allow the water to stagnate it. It will lead to the mosquito breeding. Those days are all gone. Now the environment is playing at the national and the international level. And environment, you cannot say not only that environmental chemistry or environmental biology, now it's separate branch in LLM itself, environmental law is there. Now you can able to see environment. Special courts have also been formed, namely the National Green Tribunal. In order to hear and dispose the case quickly, special tribunals have been formed on par with the Supreme Court. And you come across this, what you can say, the day is not far. Even that environmental politics on subject may also be coming in. That much quantum of that environmental law is playing that role both at the national and international level. This is the point I would like to state. One more thing, if you wanted to start a new industry, you have to do that environmental impact assessment. What is that EIA? That is in the existing environment, what is the condition? What is the air quality? What is the water quality? What is the biodiversity? What is the forest regime in that area? Like that, you have to assess it. That 300 acres, I am going to convert it for some other purpose, for an industry, even for a college, or even for a university, or even for the dam construction, road construction. Like that, you will have several projects. So you have to do that EIA. EIA means environmental impact assessment. What is the existing environment of that area? You work it out. Air quality, water quality, biodiversity, forest, wildlife, everything. Then if your industry comes or if your project comes, what will be the effect because of that one in that environment? It may have a positive as well as a negative. If it is funded by the international, you have to do the social impact assessment also. Why the social impact assessment? Because some people would have residing there for decades and centuries. If they ask them to replace it, you must have a proper rehabilitation for them also. If you just like that displace them, they will be a burden on our society. They will become the criminals also. So you must properly rehabilitate those people. That is one of the mandatory one as per the law. Now, what is that effect? Effect can be studied in two sides. Number one, during the construction phase, during the operating phase. During the construction phase, how much water you are going to draw, how you are going to get that water, and whether adequate provisions are there in order to send back that, recharge that water. Air pollution. During the construction phase, you are operating the pockline, you are operating the bulldozer, you are removing so much amount of the plants, trees and all. Whether you are having that adequate provision after the project comes, you have to grow so many trees also. So existing environmental conditions you have to study. Then because of your industry, what will be that effect, how it damages the air quality, water quality, soil quality, biodiversity, etc. You work it out in the paper. Then you have to show the mitigation measures. That is minimizing the effect of that one. You are cutting 500 trees means you have to plant another 1000 trees. You are going to affect this, but there are certain things which will not be given. For example, if it is affecting the wildlife corridor, permission will not be given. If it is violating the coastal regulation zone notification, permission will not be given. If it is within the radius of 1 kilometer of the reserve forest, it will not be given. If it is ecologically sensitive area, permission will not be given. So you have to work it out to that environmental impact assessment, submit the thing to the state level environmental committee, then authority will give the clearance. The point which I would like to state here is, for the purpose of getting that, protecting the environment, there is a special procedure for giving that environmental clearance. So that is also very, very important one. Apart from that, the court has also played a lot of role. Polluter pays principle is there, precautionary principle is there, sustainable development is there, absolute liability is there. Okay, so because if you are having that adequate knowledge of environmental science, then with that one you can do your law degree, you can become a good environmental lawyer also, because lot of cases are pending before the National Green Tribunal and the Honorable High Courts. So because most of the lawyers are with the background of history or economics, political science, like that only. Very rarely, only hardly 5 to 10% of the people with the science background, because environmental law is not unlike the criminal law or not unlike the constitutional law, where with their knowledge is different. Here the background is very important. So with the scientific background, with your legal knowledge, you can effectively practice before the National Green Tribunal and Honorable High Court and Supreme Court to handle the environment related cases. Don't think that the lawyers are very less paid. When you go to the lawyer, then only you will be knowing, Ore Baba, how much money I have to spend it. So that is. And number two, now environmental auditing is one of the mandatory requirement for any industry. So if you are having a good knowledge about that environmental aspects, means you can practice as an environmental auditor. Auditor in the sense means, what is that? this year, how much quantum of the waste generated, and that waste, how it has been treated, whether it is within that level. Like that, you can do with reference to air, water, energy, everything, and audit also. Third one, if you are having an adequate knowledge of this environmental impact assessment, you can be a consultant also. That 2 or 3 people can join together and you can do that consultancy work for the industry also. That this is what, for the purpose of submitting that report. Each report, if you do it for rapid EIA for 3 to 6 months, you will get a 10 lakhs like that. So that is also a good avenue and opportunity open. Then you can do, what is this one? Your higher research also. That is, of course, any subject you can do your research. If it is an application oriented research, means lot of industries will take your research work for their in their own industry. You can get the patent also. And moreover, when you are writing any competitive examination, one paper is there compulsorily about that environmental issues. It will be useful both for your general studies, especially if you write for the Indian Forest Service, because that is exclusively meant for the science graduates. Arts graduates are not eligible with the history background and all. Only the science and engineering graduates are only. So there, your environmental knowledge is very, very important. It will come for the rescue also. So now that I have given the good opportunities, both individual or when you wanted to go for the job also, there are number of the Ministry of Environment and Forest is there. Then you come across the Central Pollution Control Board, you come across the State Pollution Control Board, and every industry they have to employ one environmental engineer and one environmental scientist, and they have to do that analysis and show every day what is the content of this one, because when the board is coming for the inspection, means they have to show it. So like that, you have got both job opportunities as well as the entrepreneurship opportunities also. So now the time is around 1:25. If you are asking any doubt, questions, clarifications, you are welcome to ask me. Please. I don't want to stand before you and the lights.
Any doubts?
Not only doubt, வேற ஏதாவது காம்ப்ளிகேட்டட் கொஸ்டின்ஸ் தமிழ்லையும் கேட்கலாம், இங்கிலீஷ்லையும் கேட்கலாம், ஒன்றும் பிரச்சனையே இல்லை. சார் இவ்வளவு சட்டங்கள் இருக்கு, இவ்வளவு திட்டங்கள் இருக்கிறது, ஆனாலும் இவ்வளவு பொல்யூஷன் இருக்கிறது, ஏன் சார் அப்படின்னு அந்த மாதிரியும் கேட்கலாம். பிகாஸ் திஸ் இஸ் எ சோஷியல் இஷ்யூ. ஹியர் சயின்டிபிக் இஷ்யூவை விட சோஷியல் இஷ்யூஸ் தான் இதுல அதிகம். Yes, please.
Sir, even though there are so many norms and regulations,
Even though
so many norms and regulations, இப்போ ஹையர் அத்தாரிட்டிஸ்ல இருக்கிறப்போ லஞ்சமும் வாங்குவாங்க, காசும் வாங்கியும் சைன் பண்ணி கொடுத்துருவாங்க. ஸோ during that cases, even the authorities are not following the rules and regulations.
நான் ஃபாலோ பண்ணதுன்னு அதாவது எல்லா இடத்துலையுமே இந்த கரப்ஷன் and other things are there. I am not justifying the same, but again, you are willing to give, so you are also partly responsible for that one. So if the fellow says, I will not be giving, whatever the rule says, as per the rule only you have to do it, அப்படின்னு அவன் ஸ்டபானா இருந்தான்னா டெஃபினட்டா, பட் அவனுக்கு ஒர்க் வேகமா ஆகணும்ன்ற ஒரு எண்ணத்துல அவன் அந்த சைட் ட்ராக் எடுத்து கிரீஸ் பண்ணி விடுறான் இல்லையா. பட் ஐ டோன்ட் சே இட் இஸ் த கரெக்ட் ஒன். பட் கொடுப்பதும் தவறு, வாங்குவதும் தவறு. ஆனா வாங்குறவனை தான் நீங்க சொல்றீங்களே தவிர கொடுக்கறவனை சொல்ல மாட்டேங்கிறீங்க. கொடுக்கறவன் நிச்சயமா கொடுக்க மாட்டேன்னா வாங்குறவனுக்கு ஆப்பர்ச்சுனிட்டியே இல்லை. எத்தனை நாள் தான் உங்க பேப்பரை பெண்டிங்ல போட்டிருப்போம், ஒரு நாளைக்கு அதுக்கு நடவடிக்கை எடுத்துதான் ஆகணும். வாட்ஸ்அப்ல ஒருத்தன் கேட்கறானே, எனக்கு நீ உன் பென்ஷனை பாஸ் பண்ணணும்னா எனக்கு 5000 ரூபாய் கொடுது. சட்டையை கழட்டி போடுறான், இது 100 ரூபா. பனியனை கழட்டி போடுறான், 50 ரூபாய். அடுத்தது மொபைல் போனு, இது ஒரு 150 ரூபா. இப்போ உனக்கு 5000, இதுக்கு மேல கழட்டாதப்பா, நான் உனக்கு பேப்பரை பாஸ் பண்ணிடுறேன். அந்த மாதிரி நீங்க கொடுப்பதும் தவறு. பட் ஐ டோன்ட் சே that it is not happening. It is also happening. But again, what to do? We are in the process of development. That's what I told you. Number one, I told you first 4 E's. Finally, I would like to say, if the project wanted to be a successful one, political will is important, public participation is important, professional ethics is important. So now, after completing your degree, when you go to your profession, you should have practice your professional ethics. Ethics in the sense, I will not be taking any money. I will be doing as per the procedure. Whatever the consequences which are coming, I will be facing for that one. Like that, you should follow your professional ethics. If everyone is following that ethics, certainly that society will be improving it. Now, the difference between the ethics and law is a command issued by the sovereignty, whereas the ethics is something your inner thing. Ethics will control your internal behavior, law will control your external behavior. தன்னஞ்சு கற்க பொய்யற்க பொய்த்தபின் தன்னஞ்சே தன்னை சுடும் அப்படிங்கிறது தான் எத்திக்ஸ். So nobody is there to say you, but your own manasachi says, no, I will not be doing that one. I will do as per the law, as per the procedure only I will be doing it. If you can practice your professional ethics, it will, in the due course of time, it can be reduced a lot. Public participation, even if it is given, when the public are against for that, you know what has happened for the Sterlite, you know what has happened for the Silent Valley project. If there is no acceptance from the people, means if there is a lot of agitation, even though political will is there, it will not be sustained. So அதனால அந்த எத்திக்ஸை நம்ம ஃபாலோ பண்ணணும். பட் சட்டமும் சொல்லுது வாங்கக்கூடாதுன்னு இருந்தா கூட அதை சர்க்கம்வெண்ட் பண்றதுக்கு பல விதமானது இருக்குது. மனசாட்சின்னு ஒண்ணு இருந்ததுன்னா then you can do the thing also. I hope you cannot give a convincing answer. To the best of my ability, I have given a convincing answer.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Sure.
சார் ஏதாச்சும் ஒரு கம்பெனி சார் ஒரு இண்டஸ்ட்ரி நிறைய பொல்யூஷன், ஐ மீன் கரெக்டாக ரீசைக்கிள் பண்ணாமலையோ இல்லை கரெக்டாக டிஸ்போஸ் பண்ணாம வேஸ்ட் லேண்ட்ஸ்ல இந்த வாட்டர் ஃபில்ஸ்ல விடுறாங்கன்னா அதை ஆர்டிஐ மூலமா தெரிஞ்சுக்கலாமா சார்? ரைட்,
தாராளமா தெரிஞ்சுக்கலாம். ஆர்டிஐல தெரிஞ்சுக்கலாம். அதுக்கப்புறமா பொல்யூஷன் கண்ட்ரோல் போர்டுக்கு இன்ஃபார்ம் பண்ணி போடலாம். அதுக்கு அடுத்தது என்ஜிடிக்கு 30 நாளைக்குள்ளார ரிப்ளை வரலன்னா நீங்க கேஸையும் ஃபைல் பண்ணலாம். எல்லா ப்ரொவிஷன்ஸும் நம்ம இதுல இருக்கு. ஆர்டிஐல போடலாம். ஏன்னா பிகாஸ் திஸ் இஸ் அ பப்ளிக் டொமைன். யூ ஆர் ஆஸ்கிங் வாட் இஸ் த பொல்யூஷன் லோட், வேர் வென் யூ ஹவ் டேக்கன் த சாம்பிள், வாட் இஸ் த சாம்பிள் அனாலிசிஸ் பண்ணதனுடைய ரிப்போர்ட்டை கொடு, தாராளமா கேட்கலாம் அண்டர் த ஆர்டிஐல. ஆர்டிஐல கேட்க முடியாதது பிரைவேட் இன்ஃபர்மேஷனை யூ கேனாட் ஆஸ்க். If it is affecting that international relations, you cannot ask it. Then third one, if it is a privileged document of the country, you cannot ask. 100% you are having that right to Information Act. You come across, you can get that information. If after getting that information, if you are find that there is a lot of mistakes are there, you can issue a notice to the Pollution Control Board stating that, see, this is what the pollution they are doing, what action you have taken it. You wait for 30 days. If you are not taking that any action, you file a case in the court also. Definitely you have got full right.
Sir, and consider ஏஷியன் கண்ட்ரிஸை விட யூரோப்பியன் கண்ட்ரிஸ் தான் சார் இந்த கிளைமேட் சேஞ்ச் அதெல்லாம் ரொம்ப விக்ரஸா பண்ணிட்டு இருக்காங்க. அண்ட் ரீசெண்ட் டைம்ஸ்ல வந்து பாத்தீங்கன்னா ரிட்டன் ஆர்டிக்கல் லைக் இஸ்ரேல்ல இருக்கிறவங்க அவங்களோட ஃப்ரெஷ் வாட்டர் சோர்சஸ் மட்டும் பாதுகாக்கிறாங்க. அந்த மாதிரி ஏன் சார் நம்ம கண்ட்ரில
பண்ணலாம்? இல்ல, நீங்க சொல்றது ஒரு விதத்துல கரெக்ட். ஆல்ரெடி the western countries have polluted a lot. Now they are saying the developing countries you should not do it. But what to do? None the developing countries are asking that the developed countries you give your technology transfer, because technology transfer is most important. And then number two, you give the financial assistance for that. For that only, that World Monetary Fund and all, they are funding a lot to a country like ours in order to reduce the climate change. Because நம்மளுக்கு இப்போ எனர்ஜி எஃபிஷியன்ட், இந்த பல்பை போடு, அந்த பல்பை போடு, சோலார் வாட் இஸ் திஸ் ஒன், சோலார் இது பேனலை போடு அப்படின்னா எடுப்பிலேயே நம்ம போட முடியாது. அதுக்கு தான் லாட் ஆஃப் ஃபினான்ஷியல் அசிஸ்டன்ஸ் ஆர் கம்மிங் த்ரூ தி வேர்ல்டு பேங்க் அண்ட் அதர் திங். வேர்ல்டு பேங்க் ஃபண்டட் ப்ராஜெக்ட்ஸ் அப்படி இப்படின்னு வருது இல்லைங்களா? அந்த மாதிரி ஃபண்ட்ஸும் கொடுக்குறாங்க. And technology transfer, அதுவும் ரொம்ப ரொம்ப important, because now whatever the technology we are using, it is may not be 100% energy efficient one. See, if you are wanted to have a technology which is a good energy efficient, you have to borrow it from the foreign countries. For that you have to pay a lot. One thing you remember, foreign countries, western countries, they don't give even advice at a free of cost. Everything will be looked only in the business angle only. So in that case, they will be charging enormously. So you give at a free of cost or put a minimum cost for that one. Because when you say that, see, we have also wanted to develop it. The developed countries already you are polluted. Now you are saying the developing countries are polluting, means there is no principle of equity or equality or the sharing of the responsibilities. அதுக்கு தான் இப்போ வேரியஸ் ஃபண்டிங் ஏஜென்சிஸ் நமக்கு கிளைமேட் சேஞ்சுக்கெல்லாம் இப்போ ஃபண்ட் பண்றாங்க. ஆனா அந்த ஃபண்டை ஒழுங்கா செலவழிக்கணும், அதுதான் முக்கியமான ஒன்று. போலாமா? Yes, please.
So firstly, I really liked your talk, so thank you for that. I have a doubt regarding sort of public awareness. It's like we have all these national and international laws, but the only thing is it starts from the public, right? How do we know that let the people know that these are the things that we have, these are the provisions you have? But it's not like you can expect them to follow it.
இல்ல நீங்க வந்து அவேர்னஸ் கிரியேட் பண்றதுக்கு இப்ப காலேஜ் லெவல்ல அவேர்னஸ் கிரியேட் பண்றதுக்கு திஸ் டைப் ஆஃப் ஒர்க் ஷாப் இஸ் ஆர்கனைஸ்டு. நவ் யூ நோ வாட் இட் இஸ். யூ கேன் டிசிமினேட் தட் இன்ஃபர்மேஷன் டு யுவர் ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஸ் அண்ட் அதர் பீப்புள். ஃபார்மலி ஆல்சோ யூ ஆர் டீச்சிங் தட் என்வாயன்மெண்டல் சயின்ஸ் அந்த சப்ஜெக்ட் கொடுக்குறாங்க. அதுக்கப்புறமா இன்ஃபார்மலி ஆல்சோ செவரல் ப்ரோக்ராம்ஸ் ஆர் ஆல்சோ கண்டக்ட். மோரோவர், சுற்றுப்புறத்தை சுத்தமாக வைத்திருக்க வேண்டும் என்பது சொல்லி கொடுக்க வேண்டியதே இல்லை. 100 years back, who has taught us? In fact, if you could practice our own customs and manners, it is more environmental friendly only. நம்ம சாப்பிட்ற இட்லி, தோசை, பூரி, பொங்கலே என்விரான்மெண்டலி குட், நாட் கோயிங் ஃபார் த பீஸா, பர்கர் அண்ட் அதர் திங்ஸ், இல்லையா? அதுலயே ஃபுட்டுனுடைய இதுலயே பாத்தீங்கன்னா நம்ம கிளைமேட் ரீஜனுக்கு இந்த ஃபுட்டு யூ கேன் க்ரோ இட். இட் இஸ் மோர் நியூட்ரிட்டிவ் அண்ட் இட் இஸ் எனர்ஜி பேலன்ஸ்டு. ஒரு பிஸால அரை பிஸா சாப்பிட்டான்னா நம்ம ஊருக்கு என்ன ஆகும்? வெயிட் தான் போடும், இல்லைங்களா? ஸோ நம்ம ஊர் அதே மாதிரி ட்ரெஸ்ஸிங் பேட்டர்ன் ஆல்சோ ஆஸ் பர் அவர் திங் வி ஹாவ் டு டூ த திங் லைக் தட். Even our festivals also, Bogi, Pongal, Mat Pongal, it is nothing but saying the sustainable development. அது worshipping of the nature. It is in our culture itself, இல்லையா? அதாவது வருணன், வாயு அப்படின்னு நம்ம வர்ஷிப் பண்றோம். தென் worshipping of this what is this one, trees, தலவிருட்சம் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு நம்மளதுல we are also doing that. So if you could see our own Indian culture, it is more environmental friendly. We are the people who are reusing, ரெடியூசிங், ரீசைக்கிளிங் எல்லாம். அன்னைக்கு காட்டன் பேக், நாங்க பியூசி படிக்கிற காலத்துல ஒரு தோல்ல ஒரு பேக்கை போட்டுக்கிட்டு வருவோம். இன்னைக்கு யாராவது அந்த மாதிரி பேக் போடுறாங்கன்னா கிடையாது, எல்லாம் பிளாஸ்டிக். ஸோ அதனால என்ன ஆச்சு? யூஸ் அண்ட் த்ரோ, கன்சியூமரிஸ்டிக் கல்ச்சர் ஹேஸ் கம். கன்சியூமரிஸ்டிக் கல்ச்சர்ல யூஸ் அண்ட் த்ரோ ஆன உடனே மோர் லோட் இஸ் கிவன். காட்டன் பேக்கை யூஸ் பண்ணீங்கன்னா யூ கேன் ரீசைக்கிள் இட். அப்படி இல்லைன்னா ஏதாவது தொடச்சிட்டு தூர போட்டா கூட அது வந்து என்ன ஆகும்? biodegradation ஆயிடும், because it is a natural one. So by switching over from the non-consumerist இருந்து consumeristic கல்ச்சருக்கு switch over ஆனதுனால our lifestyle pattern has changed. This has increased more quantum of the load to that environment. So that is also one factor. So நம்ம பழைய காலத்துல வந்து வீட்டுல ஒரு எருகுழி போடு, அதுக்குள்ளுக்குள்ள எல்லா பிளான்ட் மெட்டீரியலையும் போடு, இட் வில் பிகம் த கம்போஸ்ட். இதுதான் இன்னைக்கு பெருசா பயோடிகிரடேஷனு. யூ ஹாவ் டு டூ த செக்ரிகேட் த வேஸ்ட். தட் இஸ் த பயோடிகிரடேஷன்ல வந்து தட் இஸ் பயோடிகிரடபிள் அண்ட் நான் பயோடிகிரடபிள். பயோடிகிரடபிள் மஸ்ட் கோ ஃபார் த கம்போஸ்டிங் தான். திஸ் இஸ் வாட் வி ஆர் டூயிங் இட். இதே காலேஜ்ல நாங்க படிக்கிற காலத்துல இலையெல்லாம் உழுந்ததெல்லாம் அந்த பக்கத்துல ஒரு மாந்தோப்பு இருக்கும், அந்த இடத்துல கொட்டி அது ஆஃப்டர் 1 month it will become a compost, and the compost was used for that one. So our indigenous wisdom is very much available, which is very environmental friendly. In fact, I can say that Indians were the worshippers of the nature, but unfortunately, because of the intrude of the Western culture, we have forgotten and we have migrated. With the result, so much quantum of the pollution has increased. So, நம்ம own technology யார் follow பண்றாங்க இல்லையா? So everybody now, as anybody is boiling that water and taking, no, everybody wants only this water alone. Boiling of the water is the very good. As a microbiologist, you will say boiled and cooled water is a very good one. Again, this is a easy technology. இதுக்கு போறோம் நம்ம. Microwave oven, I don't know how far it will be breaking that enzymes. So good enzymes also be broken by the microwave oven. I don't know, you have to pick because you are the microbiologist. So like that, we are shifting from the traditional culture to the consumeristic culture. That consumeristic culture has added more load to that environment. Had we used our own recycling, reusing, reducing, respecting our environment, we can reduce a lot of things. There only the sustainable development. But of course, in the process of protecting our environment, we cannot prevent the development. Development is also very essential. But that development must be within the regenerating capacity of that environment. Within the regaining capacity, it should not cross that nature's balance. 500 ட்ரீயை கட் பண்ணீங்கன்னா ஒரு 1000 ட்ரீயை வளர்க்கணும். நீங்க அதுல ஏதாவது எக்ஸாட்டிக் ஸ்பீஷீஸ், எண்டோஜீனஸ் ஸ்பீஷீஸ் அப்படி இருந்ததுன்னா அதை கட் பண்ணக்கூடாது அப்படின்லாம். இப்ப ரிவர்ல சாண்ட் இருக்குது, கண்டிப்பா ரிவர் சாண்டை எடுத்துதான் ஆகணும். ஷோல் ஃபார்ம் ஆகும். அப்படி இல்லைன்னா அது அப்படியே அடைச்சிக்கிட்டு ஊருக்குள்ளார வெள்ளம் வந்துடும். பட் அந்த ரிமூவல் ஆஃப் த ஷோல் அண்ட் ரிமூவல் 1 மீட்டர் ஆஃப் த தியரட்டிக்கல் பெட் லெவலுக்கு கீழே போக கூடாதுன்னு. நீங்க பாட்டு இஷ்டத்துக்கு தியரட்டிக்கல் பெட் லெவல்ல 3 மீட்டர் 2 மீட்டர் போயிட்டு 2 ஏக்கருக்கு பர்மிஷன் கொடுத்தா 4 ஏக்கர் எடுத்தீங்கன்னா தான் கிரீடி. அதர்வைஸ் இட் இஸ் குட். அதே மாதிரி நாளைக்கு ஒரு மலையை உடைக்கிறதுலன்னா you cannot go, okay, that is 1 bench, 2 bench, 3 bench below that ground level for 3 meters. But if you go to 100 meters, sorry, 50 meters, 100 meters, சில இடங்கள்ல பள்ளம் எல்லாம் பாத்தீங்கன்னா 100 meters அது மூடி கூட இருக்க மாட்டான். இந்த திரிசூலம் இந்த இடத்துல உள்ள குவாரி எல்லாம். பட் அகைன் தட் வில் ஹாவ் எ செகண்டரி எஃபெக்ட். வாட்டர் ஸ்டாக்னேஷன் இருக்கும். மூடாததுனால அங்க எருமை மாடு, பசுமாடு எல்லாத்துக்கும் ஒரு இது இருக்கும். ஃபென்சிங் கூட பண்ணாதது அதுல விழும். அது டிகிரடேஷன் வரும். தட் வில் காஸ் அ செகண்டரி எஃபெக்ட் ஆல்சோ. சிமிலர்லி நம்ம ஊர்ல நேச்சுரல் ட்ரைனேஜ் இருக்குது. நீங்க போயிட்டு ஆறு, குளம், கோட்டை அந்த இடத்துல பிளாட் போட்டு வித்துட்டு அப்புறமா வீட்டுக்குள்ள வெள்ளம் வருதுன்னோம்னா இட் இஸ் த பிளேஸ் இஸ் மென்ட் ஃபார் த வாட்டர். But unfortunately, when you build that house in that area, water is coming inside my house. Now, who wanted to build that house? So you have not respected your own thing. இல்லையா? So எது எந்தெந்த பர்பஸுக்கு இருக்கிறதுங்கிறது நம்மளதுல ரொம்பவா இருக்கிறது. சட்டமும் சொல்றது, our own culture is also saying it. But unfortunately, we are blindly following the Western culture, which is not adopted for our country. With the result, large quantum of the pollution load is increasing.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, madam.
Thank you for enlightening us and நிறைய இன்ஃபர்மேஷன் தெரிஞ்சுக்கிட்டோம். ஸோ அதே மாதிரி இப்போ ரீசெண்ட் டைம்ஸ்ல வந்து ஹெவி மெட்டல்ஸை வந்து ட்ரீட் பண்ணிருக்காங்க சார். ஸோ அதை பத்தி
ஹெவி மெட்டல்ஸ்க்கு வந்து அதாவது ஹெவி மெட்டல்ஸுக்கு பிரிஸ்கிரைப்டு ஸ்டாண்டர்ட்ஸ் ஆர் தேர். அதுபடி நம்ம ட்ரீட் பண்ணி எஃப்ளூவன்ட் பண்ணணும். பட் அந்த ட்ரீட்மெண்ட் ஆஸ்பெக்ட் வந்து த பெஸ்ட் பர்சன் இஸ் யுவர் சயின்ஸ் பர்சன். அதை வந்து பயாலாஜிக்கல் ட்ரீட்மெண்ட் இருக்குது, கெமிக்கல் ட்ரீட்மெண்ட் இருக்குது. கெமிக்கல் ட்ரீட்மெண்ட்ல எப்படி ஹெவி மெட்டல்ஸை ரிமூவ் பண்ணணும், பயாலாஜிக்கலி தேர் ஆர் சர்டன் ஆல்கே, தேர் ஆர் சர்டன் ஐகோர்னியா கிராசிபஸ், அந்த மாதிரி திங்ஸ் எப்படி ரிமூவ் பண்றதுன்னு அது வந்து வித் த சயின்ஸ் பேக்ரவுண்ட் இருக்கிறவங்ககிட்ட அந்த ஹெவி மெட்டல். ஐ திங்க் ஒன் ஆஃப் யுவர் டீச்சர் ஹஸ் டன் த PhD on the heavy metal removal. So she will be the first right person to give scientific data which microorganism effectively removes what type of that metal. அப்படிங்கறத உங்களுக்கு சொல்லுவாங்க. I am not that much a competent person. I don't want to misguide you. போலாமா லஞ்சுக்கு? போலாமா? Any more questions, please? You please ask. Exactly 1:35. No questions are there. Of course, outside during that lunchtime also you can clarify all the doubts. No problem at all. So once again, I would like to extend my heartful thanks to the organizers of this conference for having extended this invitation to me and as a keynote speaker, as well as sharing the dais in the inaugural function. Number two, that is, I would like to extend my thanks to the audience, the students, because if you are not there, I cannot go on. And I am very much extending my appreciation to you. Now only some students are going because பசி வந்திட பத்தும் பறந்துடும்னு சில பேர் போயிட்டு இருக்கிறாங்களே தவிர, but during the main course of time, nobody has gone outside, and I hope everyone has given not only the ears to hear, but also given their minds to listen. How do you know, sir, that they are giving their minds to listen? By way of asking their questions, I would like to know. Sir, the questions are asked by 3 or 4 people only. How do you evaluate? Other persons may be having an inhibition in asking the question. These persons, on their behalf, they would have given. And moreover, கேர்ள்ஸ் நிறைய பேர் இருந்தா கூட யாருமே இந்த மொபைலை தட்டிக்கிட்டு இல்லை. அது வந்து ஐ ஆம் சீயிங் இட் ஃப்ரம் ஹியர். ஐ திங்க் யூ ஆர் ஹேவிங் தட் மொபைல் இல்லையா? இல்லை மொபைலை வெளியில வச்சுட்டீங்களா? இல்லையே. ஸோ இங்கே தான் ரொம்ப ரொம்ப அப்ரிசியேஷன். இன் ஸ்பைட் ஆஃப் ஹேவிங் தட் மொபைல் இன் யுவர் ஹேண்ட், பட் நாட் ஆப்ரேட்டிங் தட் மொபைல்னா அதுக்கு ரொம்ப எக்ஸ்ட்ராடினரி வில் பவர் வேணும். எப்படின்னா, பழைய காலத்துல 2 வேர்க்கடலையை சாப்பிட்டுட்டு நீங்க வச்சீங்கன்னா அவன் அந்த 2 வேர்க்கடலை மறுபடியும் இன்னொரு 4 வேர்க்கடலை 5 வேர்க்கடலை சாப்பிட தூண்டிக்கிட்டே இருக்கும். அத மாதிரி இந்த மொபைல்ல இப்படி எப்படியும் தட்டிக்கிட்டு இல்லாதபடி எவ்ரிபடி, நோ ஒன் ஐ ஹவ் நாட் சீன் எக்ஸப்ட் இவங்கதான் மொபைல், அவங்க பரவாயில்ல, அவங்க ஆர்கனைசிங். அதனால அண்ட் யாருமே இந்த இயர்போனை வச்சுக்கிட்டு பேசுறது இப்படியே முழும் அப்படி எதுவுமே இல்லை. ஸோ அந்த விதத்துல அதுவும் கேர்ள்ஸ் ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ் 1.25 மணி நேரம் மொபைல ஆப்ரேட் பண்ணாத இருந்தா அது கின்னஸ் புக் ஆஃப் ரெக்கார்டுக்கு போகும். ஏன்னா இந்த நேரத்துல அவங்களுக்கு எத்தனை கால்ஸ் வந்திருக்கு தெரியுமா? பிரைம் மினிஸ்டர் மோடி போன் பண்ணிருப்பாரு, சீஃப் மினிஸ்டர் போன் பண்ணிருப்பாரு, சீஃப் செக்ரட்டரி போன் பண்ணிருப்பாங்க. பட் ஆமா, அவ்வளவு போன் கால்ஸ் வந்திருக்கும், அவ்வளவு மெசேஜ் இப்ப வாட்ஸ்அப்ல வந்திருக்கும். அரே வாட் ஆர் யூ டூயிங்? யுவர் சர்வீஸ் இஸ் வெரி மச் எசென்சியல். டெல்லியில தலை போற காரியம் இருக்குது, இங்க போய் லெக்சரை கேட்டுக்கிட்டு இருக்கிற நீ அப்படின்னு வாட்ஸ்அப்ல அவங்களுக்கு எக்ஸலண்ட். நேத்திக்கு வாட் இஸ் யுவர் ஒப்பீனியன் அபவுட் த பட்ஜெட் அப்படின்னு கேட்டிருப்பாங்க. அந்த அளவுக்கு அவ்வளவு மெசேஜ் வரும். ஏன்னா அவ்வளவு பேர், அதுவும் டக்க 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 2 கையிலயும் அந்த 2 விரல்ல மெசேஜ் பாஸ் ஆகும். அந்த மாதிரி யாருமே இல்லை நான் பார்த்த வரைக்குங்க. இட் இஸ் ரியலி, ஐ வில் பி டெல்லிங் யுவர் ஹெச்ஓடி as well as your principal, nobody was operating that mobile phone. ஏன்னா நம்ம கண்ணுக்கு தெரியுது இல்லையா, யாராவது ஆப்ரேட் பண்ண. அதுல பாய்ஸ விட்டுடுங்க, அவனுக்கு என்ன கால் வர போறது? ஒண்ணும் கிடையாது. ஆமா, நேற்றுக்கு ஒரு ஜோக் படிச்ச மாதிரி ஒரு பொண்ணுகிட்ட போயிட்டு, படா உன் மூஞ்சிய பார்க்க போறேன்னா, நான் அஜித் மாதிரி உள்ளவன்னதான் நான் கல்யாணம் பண்ணிப்பேன். ஏன்னா அஜித் மாதிரி நான் இருந்தா நான் ஏன் ஒன்ன பார்க்க போறேன்? அந்த மாதிரி ஐயோ என்ன அவ்வளவு சிரிப்பு உங்களுக்கு? அன்கண்ட்ரோலபிளா இருக்கீங்க. ஆமா, அந்த பாப்பா, அந்த பையன் பாவம் கொஞ்சம் சோகமா உட்கார்ந்து இருக்கிறாரு, அந்த சிகப்பு சட்டை. அவருக்காக தான் அந்த ஜோக்கே சொன்னேன் நானு. அந்த மாதிரி அவரை யாராவது நான் அஜித் மாதிரி உள்ளவனதான் பாப்பேன்னு சொல்லியிருப்பாங்க. இவர் பாவம் பதில தேடிக்கிட்டு இருப்பாரு. இப்ப நான் பதில சொல்லிட்டேன் அவருக்கு. நான் அஜித் மாதிரி இருந்தா நான் ஏன் ஒன்ன பாக்குறேன் நானு அப்படின்னு இப்ப அவருக்கு ஒரு பதில் கிடைச்சிருச்சு, சந்தோஷமாயிட்டாரு அவரு. அதனால சோ எதுக்கு சொல்ல வந்தேன், that is now our lecture is over. Non-operating of that mobile, in spite of so many calls and in spite of so many WhatsApp messages, you are controlling yourself in listening that lecture. I must thank you only first. அதுக்கப்புறமா தான் ஆர்கனைசேஷன் ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணணும். So shall we close it? So thank you so much. உங்க ஃபார்மாலிட்டி
Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable time. Now I request the participants to go for the lunch